This is family business. And families stay together.
When we meet George and Hippolyta, it's immediately clear that they're in like capital Love, love. But George's job is dangerous, and every trip he goes on, he might not come back. Like, how do you think that Hippolyta deals with that?
Not well.
I know what that's like. I live that now. I live that when my boyfriend tells me that, you know, he's going to the grocery store after 10 o'clock at night. Like, I'm on pins and needles until he comes home.
That's it. To the grocery store.
Yeah, he's going to the grocery store. Right now, I know I'm going off right now, like he walks every day. And I want to tell him, don't do it. Don't walk in a park. Like, he goes on this walk every day. And I'm scared to death every day that he goes up for a walk in a park. And until he comes home, until he gets back in his apartment, I'm not good.
That's sad.
I'm not good. So I know how Hippolyta feels. I know. Well, I don't have to imagine how Hippolyta feels. I know how Hippolyta feels. So there's that. The other part of that is she is a frustrated traveler herself. She's a traveler herself. She's frustrated. You know, she's in a repressive situation because it's the 1950s. The community, the culture, the marriage that she's in, and there aren't that many, you know, Black women astronomers. There aren't that many Black astronomers during that time. There aren't that many Black astronomers right now, besides Neil deGrasse Tyson, as far as I know. You know, so yeah, you know, she wants to be out on the road. She is a traveler. She is an astronomer. Her purview is the very constellation, the very galaxy, the very universe. So, yeah, George's absence is fear provoking, and it's also it stirs her desire for more for her life.
They don't like outsiders at all. I found more than a few stories about travelers being attacked in the surrounding woods.
By what?
It's interesting too, because George is like, writing the books is a way to provide for his family, but it's also a way to provide for a million other people so they can have safe trips from one place to another. How did you think about that aspect of the character, Courtney?
In order to survive back in that time, there was a village. If George stepped out when he goes on his trips, because everybody knows our house is a center of the community. Because we don't just write the travel, the Green Book. We fix cars, we post letters. The post office kind of is, because everything was separated back then. You had Black water fountains, Black post office, Black grocery stores. Everything was separated. So we had to be everything to each other. And if we did it really well, like they did in Tulsa, they massacre you in 1921, or Wilmington, Delaware, as Aunjanue let us know. So there was no you couldn't tell how white folks were going to feel. Well, if you stayed in your place, they're mad at you because you stayed in your place and you turned your place into some town into a business mecca, and they're mad at you that you've actually. You're being uppity by staying in my place, which you wanted. You don't want me to come over to yours, so why would I come over there? So we got our own thing, and you're mad if we go over to your place, you're mad because so it was that kind of that's what that needs to be understood, that there was no place for Black folks to turn with their with any kind of wrongdoing, any kind of injustice. There was nowhere for Black folks to turn, and that's what that I'm hopeful and hoping that comes from this and shows like this, to be able to get an understanding of that feeling of hopelessness, and that even though people got to the end of their rope, they didn't give up hope.
Just because they don't want you here doesn't mean you're not supposed to be.
gotta get away.
Is there any piece of this show that you hope people take and look deeper into? The people, say, I can't believe this happened on that show, and I'm going to go learn a lot more about it and absorb that into my life.
I just hope people just start to see, different people, trans people, gay people, Black people, Native, indigenous people, East Indian people. I mean, people are different. I'm intrigued by the differences that we have, because we were raised to treat people equally. So I'm not threatened by it. We didn't raise our children to be threatened by people being different. But some people are threatened by it, and that they raise their children to be threatened by anything that's not like themselves. So consequently, they continue to teach the hate, and so the young people don't learn, and they're not learning anything about different cultures in school. So the hate is perpetuated. And as I said, what is it going to take for us to realize we need each other? We can't continue to foster the hate, and we've got to begin to teach it somewhere. Nobody's teaching the history in the schools. Nobody's teaching it in the homes. In the information age, the fact that we don't know about each other it's ridiculous.
George and Hippolyta clearly love learning. They love books. Do you have a favorite book? Like one you return to the most, or that's always sort of in your mind?
I would say writers rather than, what's my favorite book. I think Beloved is one of my favorite books by Toni Morrison. The Bluest Eye by Toni is one of my books. And then, there are a lot of writers that I like. I like Lauren Groff. She is a writer a short story writer that I love. I try to read everything that she writes. I'm reading Karen Russell right now. She's another, really great short story writer. I read this really great book called Perfect Peace by this author, Daniel Black, about this Black family in Louisiana, dealing with a family that has queer members of it.
I'm a huge biography reader. I loved Chernow, Grant, and of course Hamilton, and Walter Isaacson's Steve Jobs. The fact that I read a 900-page Chernow's 900-page book about Ulysses S. Grant, and by the end of the book, I'm shaking I'm weeping over this man. I mean, so that's what books can do. But we've in this country, we've gone away from reading, and how important it is to be able to let your imagination just sit there and just take you, and let another author's experience take you, and having the patience to actually sit there and not have to have everything done for you with the movie or with the series. Just sit there with the book. So anyway.
Can I say one more? Because I have to say, as a Mississippian, I got to point out a Mississippian, Kiese Layman, his memoir, Heavy. I highly recommend it.
Heavy.
This is our family story.